We getting 3% to these organizations. I mean, we gotta know where this money going to. I mean, a lot of times they getting. Man, you got Canelo and Josh and all these guys, making $50 million, and these belts getting 3% of that. Where's it going to? How's it helping the fighters out? What are they doing with it?
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Errol Spence targets the sanctioning bodies, and he got some questions. He wants to know where that money's going. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, sometimes in boxing, I'm one person, so it takes me a second to get to certain topics, because if it's a booming week, I gotta hit you with the hard stuff. I gotta get you the content that you want, the bigger things. And also sometimes I sit back and I just play observer, and I see in the boxing game, will people, talk about stuff? And per usual, I'm usually the first one to really make a splash and make a dent and break the ice with certain conversations. I waited for this particular topic just to see if anybody cared, if anybody was going to make any kind of content surrounding it. And I didn't really see much on that front. So leave it to your boy Ego, best in the business. I got you. So I want to talk about Errol Spence and what he said to the sanctioning bodies. Now, I guess for other content creators, it wasn't juicy enough of a story. If Crawford says he gonna punch and ruin Errol's eyes or something like that, like anything like uber negative, low hanging fruit, everybody just makes videos about it because it's like when Jake Paul stole Mayweather's hat, got your hat and all that. That's kind of common sense. That, to me, that's all low-hanging fruit. It makes sense. But I think this needs to be talked about, and I don't really see enough people or any people talking about what Errol Spence said on that stage as he's donning sanctioning body belts. He has the microphone, and he's saying, yo, I got questions. What's good? What's goody with the sanctioning bodies taking 3%? If Anthony Joshua, and I can't, I don't want to bring Joshua in terms of, I can't put this on him, but just pure speculation and conjecture. It sounds like Errol Spence, maybe, and Anthony Joshua had conversations, since Joshua's now in Derek James, Errol Spence gym. And, maybe just that combined with Errol's own personal thoughts. And it just seems like the fighters are kind of teaming up. Ryan Garcia is also in the gym. So it seems like the fighters are spitballing and kind of in agreement of like, where's this money going? Like how much you had to pay for when you were the unified champ, AJ, and these types of conversations. Listen, I'm in boxing. You guys can say whatever you want. I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to this. I wrote me a manual, right? So at the end of the day, boxing is a small space. People talk. I know what happened in sparring, like great fighters, undefeated fighters, like gold medalists and silver and bronze medalists. I know about some of their worst days in the office, sparring and stuff. People talk. That's just what it is. So I think these fighters are getting smarter and starting to talk and like congregate and see that like, hey, where's this money going to? What is the sanctioning bodies doing? And another thing is the sanctioning bodies, a lot of them seem to play and have favorites. You got guys like Canelo Alvarez, and he seems to make up all the moves as he goes. He's talking about he wants to fight at cruiserweight, but you're a super middleweight undisputed champion. How are all the sanctioning bodies allowing him to not defend his titles with no mandatories, but then it'd be someone like Guillermo El Chicao Rigondao or whoever, and they become a champion, and you hear a report like 2 weeks later, a month later, they got to defend a mandatory or get stripped and vacated. Guys like Demetrius Andrade got stripped because of like inactivity and stuff when he couldn't even get fights because he was avoided. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot of politics in the game, and I'm glad fighters are now speaking out. So me personally, I thought it was very heavy hitting that Errol Spence chose to tackle such a big topic in the press conference for a fight like Spence Crawford. That's one of the biggest and most anticipated, definitely one of the most meaningful fights that we will have this year. And he chose that opportunity. It shows you Errol Spence, aka the truth. It shows you he is the truth, and he's a man of substance and principle. And there's more than just the fighter persona. There's a lot of athletes, and I'm not going to name a bunch of people, but there's a lot of athletes. You like their athletic, endeavors and their athletic persona, but you wouldn't like them as people. This to me shows Errol Spence's character, that he's not saying like me, it's only me. He's saying we as fighters, where's our money going? Where's the pension plan? How come fighters, they end up as like grocery checkers at grocery stores, and this is a former world champion, and you bagging groceries. There's no retirement plan, no pension, no 401k, but sanctioning bodies, they're not risking their lives, and they're taking 3-5% or whatever. And what if it's a huge purse? You know what I'm saying? Like $30 million. Like, you would love to get, like, you as a person, you would love to receive 30 or like 3% of a $30 million Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury purse. You guys do the math. 30 million, 3 million would be 10%. You know what I mean? 1.5 million would be 5%. So it'd just be under that. And that's just for you to have your belt represented, and it's crazy. So I think as time goes on in the social media era, TikTok era, YouTube Shorts era, the Boxingego era, you're going to start seeing more and more fighters realize that. And I've been telling you, Ego Stradamus strikes again. Fighters keep talking about belts and stuff like that. Then you had Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, the biggest fight thus far in a year, and it didn't really have a belt. It was at a catchweight, didn't have a belt, and it still did more money than fight like in a way fought for undisputed against Paul Butler. But we all know that Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia was a more astronomical blockbuster fight. So I told you, the belts are almost becoming a thing of the past because of how they've gallivanted through boxing and just the politics and things like that. Like, not all fighters are treated equal and getting a fair shake. Some people have been mandatory for 4 years and never get an opportunity. Different things. Canelo fails, and I think it was like 5 other Mexican fighters had failed with clenbuterol. The WBC raises the threshold of clenbuterol before it becomes an adverse test. But why? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you just go vegan for a camp? Don't eat the meat in Mexico. Why do you have to increase the threshold for a banned substance? These things aren't consistent because other fighters have failed for like Michelle Rivera. Whatever he failed for, why don't you just increase the threshold if that's what we're doing? So boxing, I told you from the beginning, there's no equality and it's not fair. And Errol's posing a very, very good question that needs to be discussed more and more. The other thing is you have, like, let's say the WBC, you're getting 3%, all this money that you're getting from the fighter for not fighting, not having to really like do nothing extra to promote. Like the WBC, IBF, WBO, WBA, IBO, none of them have ever made a fight more interesting to me. Meaning, like, I've never went to the WBC's Instagram, WBA's Instagram, and got more excited that Spence was fighting Crawford because of them solely. You know what I'm saying? It just, simply put, doesn't happen. That doesn't make sense. So nobody's really like having a low level fight that no one's anticipating or interested in, and all of a sudden they're interested because the WBO or the WBA or, they promoted it. So again, you're getting 3%. And then on top of that, you're getting 3% of the fighter's earning, who the fighter's risking their life. You're not really doing nothing extra other than just having your belt, a trinket. And you're also doing things that are disingenuous to the sport of boxing, like the franchise title, and causing confusion. So sanctioning bodies, you're getting paid. Like, it'd be understood if you were doing things that were across the board respected and decisions that were approved from all boxing fans. You know what I mean? But these sanctioning bodies are doing stuff like bumping someone out of the number one spot, and they should be the number one spot, the highest ranked person. Their WBC, the clenbuterol thing, the franchise title, like, you're creating confusion. You're not allowing Jermall Charlo to get a shot at Canelo Alvarez at 160, and Canelo's in the witness protection program. Canelo's WITSEC'd up, right? You're not allowing Devin Haney to have tried to become undisputed way earlier. He was already the youngest ever to become undisputed when it finally happened with George Kambosos, but he could have been even younger, but Lomachenko became the franchise designation champion, and it did not allow for that. So with these things in mind, you're taking the 3-5% or whatever as a sanctioning body, and you're not even making decisions that benefit the whole of boxing that fans all love. There's a lot of fans who were up in arms about many decisions these sanctioning bodies have made, like the franchise title. So basically, you're not even improving boxing. You're not taking the money and like, hey, we got you coming up. You take it 3% and making a Juneteenth nigga belt. Nobody asked for that. We don't need Floyd Mayweather versus John Gotti and Lucky Luciano belts and stuff like that. Why belt for what? It's an exhibition. Why is it a Juneteenth belt? And you know what I'm saying? It ends weird and ends in a riot. Just crazy stuff like that. So Errol Spence is absolutely right. And I think, luckily, with people getting smarter and information at our fingertips in social media, I think the microscope gets bigger, and people are going to start looking at these things, and people are going to honestly start assessing that. I think PBC should come out with their own belts. Top Rank should come out with their own belts. You know, DAZN, whoever else, come out with your own belt like the UFC does. And then it's easier to control, less politics. And if you're not aligned with PBC, then you don't have to worry about fighting for the PBC belt. You know, fight for a Top Rank belt. That's what I think is going to get. I want to see boxing make some serious changes, or at the very least, come out with some programs that people really respect. Use that money effectively. Like, Oscar Valdez failed a drug test with phentermine in his system, and the WBC and the Arizona Commission got together or whatever and decided that Valdez should still be champion and allowed to fight, and he has to do some community service, which we've never even heard about since then. Like, is he doing the community service? These are the questions. So you're taking the money and you're pretty much running, and you're caking up and getting all this bread, but you're not even improving boxing with the money. So Errol's right. When is the money going to be, reinvested back into boxing and boxing programs and protocols that really affect and help the fighter? That's why I'm surprised not that many people are talking about. But again, it's not as in your face. It was more of a subtle moment, and Errol Spence and Crawford Face Off and Trash Talk and other quotables seem to outshine this. But I think as a boxing fan, if you're a fan of boxing, this should be very important to you as well. Take the money and reinvest it in the programs that we care about. Not like the WBC has the clean boxing program and they test for drugs, but then when someone fails a drug test, they let them fight anyway. So that's not really why even do the drug testing if you can decide if you want to believe this fighter when they fail a drug test, like Conor Benn and stuff like that, right? It's just his word versus yours, his word versus the test. I mean, this needs to be discussed. Y'all let me know. We unpack. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.